vorrebbe scegliere come titolo dei giornali domani, dei giornali italiani per questo nuovo Spider-Man?
I think Spider-Man is he's an uncynical superhero who is going to have to confront the face of evil for the first time, and he will be transformed because of it.
Do you speak Italian? No, he doesn't speak Italian.
Ho studiato la francese tanti anni fa.
Amazing.
No.
The amazing Marc Webb.
No, that's all.
So a kind of surprising new.
Yeah, it's surprising. I think something from the comic books that I enjoyed. The Gwen Stacy saga was a really provocative storyline that changed not only the Spider-Man universe but all of comics back in the 70s. And it was a really fantastic ride, a difficult journey really for all of us to go on, and it's something that I think people will be talking about for a while, and I think it was really fun for all of us to explore. I think we really enjoyed that.
A proposito di questo aspetto che sottolineava Marc Webb, forse è inutile che ve lo dica, ma diciamo per informazioni di servizio lo sottolineo, c'è un aspetto ovviamente del finale che spero che non venga rivelato da voi, uno spoiler particolare, in particolare per questo finale, per lasciare appunto tutti quanti il piacere di vederlo in sala. C'è una prima domanda?
Sì, buongiorno, volevo chiedere sia al regista che a Anno quali sono secondo loro gli ingredienti di questo grande successo, un personaggio che piace moltissimo, un primo film che ha avuto un successo strepitoso, cos'è che conquista il pubblico e forse non solo dei giovanissimi, secondo voi? Grazie.
I think Spider-Man is a character that's been beloved for a really long time because he's different than a lot of other superheroes because he's a kid, and he is not a billionaire. He's not an alien. He's a kid who has to pay rent and has trouble with his girlfriend and all these domestic relationships. And I think he's the most relatable superhero behind the mask of anybody.
Say.
Yeah, I agree. I can't really add much to that apart from, the suit, as we've said many times at this point. You don't see any skin color, you don't see where Spider-Man is from, so anyone around the world, and this is what we've felt all around the world, is that everyone can project themselves into the suit. You don't see that it's a white, skinny Queen's boy in the suit. You can imagine it's anybody, black, white, Chinese, Italian. And I think that's incredibly potent and powerful that's why this character is loved as well.
Buongiorno, sono Marco Spagnoli. Volevo chiedere a Marco Webb e a Emma Stone qualcosa rispetto al suo personaggio, perché è un personaggio molto interessante, cioè c'è proprio veramente la prima volta che vediamo un confronto tra un supereroe e la sua compagna, e qualcosa anche rispetto al sense of humor che ha questa serie che la rende particolarmente apprezzata, a partire dal personaggio e voi l'avete mantenuto. Grazie.
I think one of the things that's really enjoyable to watch in terms of the relationship, you need, for me in movies, I don't know why, probably because it confounds me in my real life, but I love watching on-screen romance and connection between men and women, and it's something that I've always loved. And what's great about Andrew and Emma when they're acting, they're really good improvisatory actors. So they are very awake and in the moment and alive, and they build on the nuances of each other's performance. So as an audience member, it feels very real. It doesn't feel scripted. And that improvisation, I think, adds a really special layer to a movie that is shrouded in spectacle and massive effects and action. You need that humanity, and I think that's what you get when you have really wonderful actors like they do.
Emma, do you want to react?
Well, I would just say that was something that I think Marc was very clear about from the very beginning, that he cared deeply about this relationship and protecting this relationship and giving Andrew and I the space to explore and to improvise and to kind of find the different layers to Gwen and Peter. And the writers were very protective of that as well. So that was a huge part of why I wanted to be a part of this movie, was that Gwen and Peter's relationship was just really beautiful and really fleshed out and meant a lot to me, and the hope of it and the tragedy of it is, I think, incredibly meaningful as Peter Parker moves forward into becoming stronger and stronger as Spider-Man.
Camicia bianca, lì.
Pretty loser. I think it was all very exciting and challenging, and I think any actor would tell you that when you get a chance to play, two roles. I mean, Dane, I'm sure you can chime in on this. Is the fact that you start out as this sort of, corny goofball guy with the comb over and everything like that, and then you get a chance to display, your talents as a villain. It was all of it was cool. There were times when in playing Max, we got laugh out loud moments, and then there was times in playing Electro we had some really villainous and really exciting moments. So both characters, the pre-loser and the blue loser, were fantastic.
Jamie, tua figlia è contenta che tu interpreti questo personaggio?
Familiarize yourself with the source material. You have to understand who has Harry Osborn always been, who has the Green Goblin always been, and have an understanding of that, and make sure you honor those characters within this new franchise. But also what's exciting is you get the chance to bring it into the modern day and to give the world a new Harry Osborn and a new Green Goblin, and where they exist in this world within today. And that's what's really exciting. And that was the challenge. Luckily we had a great script, and I was able to kind of find the through line of how does Harry go from one extreme to the next, and have it all still make sense. And obviously Marc was a big help in that process as well.
What?
I just let them do their thing. I didn't have to do anything. It was great.
Don't lie, you coached us both so intensely on the ways of love.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I forgot. I just was watching in the background, having a good time, smiling and getting a little weepy and misty once in a while. I don't know. I think it's just about protecting the process and trying to create an environment in which that feels as real as possible. And then we would play music, we would talk, we would. I'm trying to think of any specific direction. I don't remember anything, honestly. It was just about trying to create an environment that was reflective of the scene we were trying to create and trying to protect that.
It's a real testament to Marc as a director, because I think it's such a delicate thing to attempt to capture the most intimate of human moments that we experience in our lives, and to allow all of us in these intimate scenes, not love scenes, but there is love between all these characters in different ways, to forget there's a camera rolling, to forget there are crew members around, to forget that we're making a movie, to actually truly believe that this is happening right now. And Marc is an amazing at creating that very sacred, magical space.
Something actually, ironically, I think some of the best moments came from not rehearsing, just showing up and seeing what happened in the moment, and not trying to create or aim after a result. Just putting in the soup and seeing what happened and being open to that. And I think that allows you a certain authenticity that people feel and understand on not an intellectual level, on some deeper soulful level. His room that came outside of me, which was that his room was chaotic and messy at the beginning of the film, because he was so dedicated to Spider-Man that Peter Parker had sort of been left behind. And so there's this feeling of everything was dog-eared and worn around the edges and like not taken care of and dusty. And that was reflective of, I think, Peter Parker's inner life, wouldn't you say? And then we had really wonderful art directors. I mean, listen, I like Antonioni, of course, and he's a photographer. The movie's about a photographer. Peter Parker is a photographer, of course, because we know from the comics. So there was a resonant frequency in that. And, you know, it's about finding something about, like, it's very easy in comic books to create a world that is a degree away from the reality that we all encounter. So I wanted to put at least one foot in the real world and finding bands and environments like Times Square that are realistic to base the mythology out of. I think helps create that sort of exaggerated, fun, wider spirit that we're trying to promote.
There's one really cool element. I don't know how easy it is to see in the movie, but there are Polaroids all around the room, taken from Spider-Man's perspective, and they're always very like high-angle shots of New York City streets, or like perspectives that only Spider-Man could access throughout the city. And I thought that was a really cool little detail. And they're very lonely pictures as well. It kind of communicates that he is a one-man army swinging through a very, you know, the busiest and loneliest city in the world. So it was kind of a nice little thing to isolate him and also give him that privileged position and perspective. It was kind of a cool thing that Marc came up with.
Sure. There's going to be what we discovered at the beginning as we were writing this second movie. There's a lot of characters that not only the audience and fans were intrigued by, but we started to be intrigued by as well. There's the Sinister Six. There's Venom, who are iconic, really interesting elements in the Spider-Man universe. And so these things started to creep up into the stories we're telling. And that's that we will roll out in future films. And so certainly there's very interesting things for Peter Parker in the future. So yes, there'll be more movies.